Today's the day we're going to plant the back fence with our inexpensive seed mix, deer-resistant seed mix, and my jungle prairie mix, all from Prairie Moon Nursery. Here's what it looks like inside the packages. Each one comes with a large and a small seed package. Oops, small seed. And then we have a cover crop, which is a sterile wheatgrass that will grow to suppress the weeds and keep it down. So I'm following the instructions that they provided. So I've done all of the smothering of the weeds, which we'll see shortly. And now we are doing the planting. We're going to do a fall-winter sowing so that the seeds will overwinter and break dormancy that way. This is what the seed mix looks like. Here's our small seed, mostly, and then the larger seed. And now I'll mix in the cover crop. So here's what the cover crop seed looks like. All right, and now we'll add the other two. All right, next we'll put in our deer-resistant mix. We have a lot of deer in our area. Here's an idea of what's in this package. I found it's best to cut the top off of the seed mixes rather than try to open the package, because otherwise you get the sticky glue and you could lose some seeds that way. So the interior packages are not different amongst the different packs. So the only way you can tell is from the outside packaging. And of course, probably once we pour the seeds in there, you'll be able to see that there's some difference in the seeding. We're mixing all of these together, and we'll explain why shortly. All right, so this was our first mix. This is the inexpensive shortgrass seed mix. And this one looks quite different. This is the deer-resistant mix. I guess they settled, kind of the same. And each mix will have some of the same grasses as well. All right, now we're on to the jungle prairie seed mix. Give you a feel for what's in there. Each of these mixes is for 500 square foot. So I've got about 1,000 square feet, so I'm about 50% over what I'm trying to plant. All right, so now we've got all three seed mixes in here, and we'll give it a good stir, mix those all up, and then we will be dividing it into several shares so that we keep it even. I'll explain that more in the next step. All right, so here's our mixed up seed. And if you take a whiff here, doesn't really smell like much other than good earth. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to divide this up into different sections. That way you have a better chance of getting an even dispersion of the seed rather than doing it all in one go. So to do that, I'm just simply going to take a 1/4 cup and start distributing it evenly, trying to mix the seed as I go into each of these containers. All right, and I'm scooping up the bottom here just to make sure that there's none of those little tiny seeds at the very bottom that are going to get lost. And it looks like we might have enough for one more go around. As I feared, some of these really small seeds are kind of sticking mainly on the bottom. So as I see those, I'm going to try to disperse them a little bit more evenly. All right, hopefully I haven't completely messed up my distribution here. I'm going to take these last little bits and spread them fairly evenly. And as you can see, the smaller stuff just kind of hangs out on the bottom. So we'll just do our best to distribute that evenly, which is not easy. All right. So there we've got 6 even containers. And I haven't spilled yet, so I'm pretty happy about that. All right, so in our next step, we're going to mix these with some compost that I have waiting, and then we'll get it all spread out. All right, so here we are in the backyard, and I've got some compost. So it's a little dry on top, but underneath it's fairly moist. So my instructions say to moisten the material, the compost, but since it's so moist underneath, I'm not going to do that. The seed will stick to it pretty well, I think. So we're going to add about a gallon of this lovely compost with each mix of the seeds. And I've got my gallon markers here somewhere. There we go. A little bit more. All right. Look at that. Fabuloso. All right, now we're going to take our seeds and dump them in there. And once again, mix it up really, really well. All right. So there's the end result. We've got the seed mixed in there pretty well. Because it's moist, it's sticking to the carrying material. And now we'll broadcast this one section. Okay, so here's where we're going to be seeding. And just as a reminder, the way we prepped this is we cleared it of as many weeds as possible, and then weed whipped it until it was down to as much bare dirt as we could get to. And then we covered it with cardboard. And underneath here, we've got rolls of cardboard. Probably about 8 mice too. So here's the rolls of cardboard. We rolled that out over the ground and to suppress the weeds, and then we covered that with wood chips, and all the leftover wood chips are here. And in some of these sections, you can probably find a little bit of the old cardboard that will continue to wither away. So the cardboard rotted underneath the wood chips and left a nice ground here. It's frozen a little bit, but left a nice ground for sowing the seeds. So I paced this out, and I got 24 paces, so I'm doing 6 sections. So I've got them divided here with these bamboo dividers. And now we're going to do the hand broadcast, just like old Farmer Ted. Let's do it. I'm running a little low here. We'll see. It's tricky stuff here, trying to apportion it right. All right, that's the first section. I'm going to do a little extra, and I'm going to rake it in just to spread it out, make sure it's even. All right, here's the finished product. Doesn't look that different, but you can kind of see where the darker seed mix is. And now we just wait for the snow to fall. I'm sure we're going to have a few little critters coming in and munching on some of these seeds. That's why I got at least 50% more, but let's hope that a lot of them survive and do well into the spring. You can even plant this directly over snow, and if you don't have compost to mix it with, you can typically buy compost at a good hardware store. So we'll come back in the spring and we'll see how it's doing.